wiggle stuff, you will. We
You
will
mean this?
kick you at a certain
I'm ready to ask a
Wiggle
follow-up
stuff?
question, but I
What
kind of
is-
want to ask
yeah.
a follow-up
I
question.
don't think I want clarification
No,
on this, actually.
Make a wiggle move.
Hey
Or you
guys,
just kind of wiggle your way.
Oh, are you saying like that? Like Pigsty's doing?
No.
Or are you saying
is
like
it
room scale walk?
If you break the barrier of the stage, there
Yeah,
was a
no
question
fancy.
last time as to whether that was okay or not. And
Yes,
That was
it
close.
is not, and it looks like
So
it's actually
horizontal
despawning
wiggles.
people pretty
Yes, that
successfully.
works. I checked that works now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to,
See, chill.
I don't know.
Yeah.
trying to go on
And if you throw
stage.
stuff on the stage, we will kick you out.
I wasn't
Okay.
trying to go on the stage.
Can I get my camera back?
can everyone hear us all right? Is this
Yes.
okay
Yeah.
mic level?
Everybody can hear?
Yeah.
Hey, let me-
I think I'd prefer not to use the mic just because we can kind of have a more natural conversation.
Yep.
We don't have to hand it off. So let's just all try to project a little bit more, those of us that are on stage.
Who are you looking to? Me or Sarius?
I mean, everyone.
Everyone,
Pretty sure I
okay.
can project.
Okay, I'll talk louder.
So we can do some intros really quick for those of you who maybe have never been to one of these events before. This is just a quick Q&A where we kind of take questions from you guys and just generally talk about the latest update. I'm Sean. I'm the community designer. I'll be the MC. And John, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm John. I'm, if not the newest member of the dev team, certainly one of the newest. And I've helped
Welcome.
work on the Sandbox update.
Hey, John.
Okay.
Hello,
Yay!
Hello.
Come on.
Everybody knows Alkma.
Alkbar, 3D artist.
Sarius,
Hello.
developer. I've been here longer than John.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're level 30. He's only level 10.
I almost fell.
Okay.
That's how we tell who's new.
He's 3 times
Yes.
as awesome.
Yes.
Members of the Sandbox stuff were John and, or I guess, yeah, John, Sarah.
That's John. That's
Make
Sarius.
sure I'm getting your names right. So kind of think of questions, raise your hand. We're going to call on people one at a time. Do you guys want to say anything up front about Sandbox? Maybe how it was working on it or how it came about?
I mean, we can talk a little. Like, Sandbox, I think, started because we saw a lot of people in the community, like Mama Monkey for one, trying to organize different games like Ultimate Frisbee or Murder Mystery Parties and just like all these fun things that like Rec Room has the tools for, but were not like super easy to do because you had to go and like play on a paintball map before you started paintball. And like, so we want to just kind of create a space where people can be as creative as they want, take whatever toys we've made, and like make up whatever cool games or like hangout spaces or whatever they want to do.
Cool.
Hopefully it worked.
You kind of said everything. That's literally how we came up with that idea.
Nice. Who actually modeled the machine itself? Oh, nice.
That's like all I did. Very art light this time, which was good after coming off of a quest.
Oh yeah. So here's a fun little fact. Before Alkmaar did the machine, what we did was program art. It was just a table with buttons on it. So funny.
So bad. It was so bad.
It kind of broke
Physically
Cloud's
hurt
heart.
me.
Bebo said he wanted to just ship that, so you know.
And then he left. So
That
he's
would be
good.
weird.
He's on vacation.
Oh, he's a designer, not an artist, so.
Cool. So I think we can go to questions. So go ahead and put your hand up if you've got a question. All right. Dave the Dark.
Well, since we were already on the subject of who designed what, who picked the pinball sound effect? Love it.
Okay.
Oh,
so
for
I'll
the
repeat the
hit
questions just
Yeah.
for the stream in case people can't hear us. But the question was who picked the pinball sounds, I believe.
Probably
Gribbly.
Gribbly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gribbly does a lot of the sound effects work.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a Gribbly creation. Archer?
Okay, so one thing that I think would be really nice is to like, for events like I'm thinking about maybe trying, it'd be a lot easier if you could like go into a private match and then get all of the sandbox stuff you want and then be able to save the creation kind of like, say you have stuff around the map, click save, and then that way you can like come back another day and have the same stuff. Like if you're hiding things like I was thinking about doing like Hunger Games type of thing. You can hide weapons around the map and then save them
I love
there.
that idea.
Yep. So that is something which we are looking into. It's Sandbox is a completely new thing. We want to get it out in the world for a while, see how you guys react to it, and then we'll continue improving on it. So, but that is definitely something which we are looking at.
Oh, 5 other people.
Yay.
Cool. All right. Gosh, all these names
Sea
are
chill.
crowding together.
Yeah.
Emily.
Okay, so
Sea chill. Sorry.
yesterday when the game first kind of came out, we were all in a big paintball match trying to kill each other, but it's kind of hard to tell when you've killed someone. So I was thinking maybe if there's a way we could like turn on like normal paintball PvP, but like every time you get hit by a weapon, it'll still respawn you. So it makes it a little easier when you just play like a normal paintball game, except like one team has this and that.
Yeah, if you could have like a spawn object or something like.
Just like how normal paintball works, except with like maybe all of the weapons. So we can, because then it'll be easier to like play a game like that.
I think that kind of stuff with rules is something we're also looking into. Just because it's more complex, like what rules you have, what rules you don't. It'll be a little bit down the road, but it's totally again something that we really want to do.
Okay.
I think Sea Chill had a question.
Okay.
Yes,
Sea
I
Chill.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we love the new thing. Sandbox is
Thank
awesome.
you.
I was just wondering what other options you were planning on putting in there.
I think you guys just added stuff before we came in, right?
Yeah, you guys will see what else we edit soon. We are hoping to catch it today.
I know it would be a small thing, but like if we had the option of like you can throw a couch in the scene or something, so then by default the room doesn't have a couch, and then you can set up like goals everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couch is actually a good idea. Then the furniture category won't be just a chair.
A chair, yeah. Tried to build a chair for it yesterday.
Actually,
it didn't work very well.
Sit. That's what matters. You can sit.
True.
Another thing I love about the chairs is that you can stack them up really high and climb up to the ceiling. I was wondering if there's any way you could unlock the ability to walk on the rafters.
No.
Like that.
Davis?
Oh, hey, there's another
Yeah,
guy.
okay,
go for
so
I
tried to do like a private game
fine.
on Quest to see if the sandbox
Sandbox.
mode was compatible with it, but I wasn't I didn't see it.
Better not wash your hand after that high five.
So do you know why?
I'm not going to.
So right now, Sandbox mode is not available in Quest. The way Quest is set up, it has a bunch of other rules which
How do I high five?
it's really troublesome right now to put Sandbox into. So we want to see how it works out first, how you guys respond to it before we decide to take the jump and make it work in Quest.
Okay.
Fancy?
What'd be really cool is to have primitive shapes in sandbox mode where you can kind of build bases and stuff,
Alien?
where you could like resize, boxes or anything to make whatever you wanted. Yeah, that would like expand the entire thing just, so much further, I feel like.
What the hell?
Yeah, like if you wanted to build, like play on disc golf and like build forts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like have fort
Having primitive
battles.
shades would be awesome.
A lot of the stuff you guys have been building so far out of just the, the green cubes
They're
and things that are
amazing.
in there, so it seems like that's definitely something y'all are interested in.
Mhm.
I love the gun.
Sure by 7.
It's Jumbo. Could you make the room codes like persistent? If say like someone went in and claimed the room code or something, maybe like you can make communities around room codes. Now that we have the sandbox thing, like before it's just like, oh, it's a room that we all met in, but now like you could customize the room, like,
Yep. So similar to what I forgot who I answered. But that whole persistency thing, we are looking into that right now, but it's not gonna come out like now, maybe within the next few months. But that's something which we are all interested in, persistency, like getting stuff to stay on, because we have tried it, like internal testing sometimes when we build something and then somebody accidentally hits the recycle all button and everything is gone and you're like, oh man, I have to set up everything again. So definitely something we want to look at.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think
cannot promise it, but we're looking at it.
I think it's like no huge secret that like Rec Room is a lot about customization and like creating things that you want to share with each other. And so another big big goal we want is like for people to be able to own a space and like feel like you have a place and like you can contribute something. So that is a big part of what we're trying to do with Sandbox, is see what kind of stuff you want to create, and then maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but like a little bit down the road, we can support that more and more with persistence or room codes or whatever that might look like. So, yes, it's a great idea.
So, also, like, if you could search for room codes for like, like some kind of browser, so you can find a community you like.
Alright, next question. Let's go.
Lala back there is really excited.
Red arrow. Sorry, we'll get to you next, Lala. Oh man.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
That's a really quick.
Everybody backs away.
Silence. Like, yikes!
It's gonna blow.
I think that's a bandwidth related microphone issue. But yeah, sorry, Red Arrow, we couldn't hear you. We can try again in a second.
Oh, sorry. Oh no.
Wherever Lala went, she can ask her question.
Over here.
Go for it.
Okay, so I talked to one of you through email about making a haunted house out of one of the quests, the last one. We were thinking of two different methods. Either one where all of the monsters are there but they don't move, but then we just shoot. So it's like those shooting games where it's just for the points. So it's like the four of us at the same time just going through the whole thing to see the points, or taking out of all of the monsters and then just like volunteers hiding in places like inside rocks or stuff like that and scaring people that are going through. Is that something that could be possible?
The second one actually sounds kind of possible right now. Like if you've cleared one of the levels in Quest, technically you can just stay there, do what you just said instead of going to the next room.
It needs more people.
So, oh, that is true. That's one of the reasons why, like, for now we cannot put Sandbox in Quest.
But we haven't
it might be possible in the future. I think you emailed me about that, and we're talking via email, so I can send you updates.
Nice to meet you in
Raccoon?
And not person.
Yeah, but we should have a better idea of that in the next few weeks, I would say. So we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
By the way, if anyone wants to host a featured event like this one that we'll promote, you can talk to me on Discord. It's just Sean, and then you can also email me, sean@againstgrav.com. And I think we have pinned to the events channel in Discord, there's a little form you can fill out. So if you want to do a featured event, you can fill that out, and I'll take a look at it and then talk to you through email. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So next question.
Wait. Before you move to the next question. Okay, so you said that it was more possible to just clear the whole game. But how about just like when it seems it's difficult to have more than 4 people in each one in the quest. How about just having 4x4, but instead of having just the monsters just stay there, like see who can last the longest with all of the monsters coming at once towards you? Like when, like once you get in, all of the monsters are already at the game. That would be scary. That could be like kind of a haunted house kind of thing.
That's an interesting idea.
think all of the
Is
monsters
anybody writing down
ones
notes?
would be like
It's a
pretty big
perf. It's a
hit,
perf
right?
issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like really, the biggest issue is perf. It's just we lose a lot of perf with a lot of enemies or a lot of people in there. So that's our biggest performance. Frame rate drops and all of that. So
the more monsters you have at once on your screen, like your headset's having to render each of those individually. So having like 20 of them at once might create a bad time for some people.
We do that anyways. And sometimes we go to one level and we just run through the whole level and get them all to appear at the same time. And we just shoot at them. So we still do it anyway.
yeah.
Okay, let's go to the right. Scorns.
This is just kind of a question about VR in general, but I guess it could apply to Rec Room. What's your guys' perspective on like touchpad movement? I know there was like development of something. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to start rumors about what it was, but that involved artificial movement in VR. What's your guys' like experience with VR sickness, getting your VR legs, stuff along those lines?
I will say I get VR sickness pretty badly. I've been in the VR industry for like more than 2 years now. I still get it really badly. I think I'm one of the worst in the office.
But you're level 30.
So it does, but I don't fly around, I teleport. It does get better over time, but only to a certain extent. So personally, I would just want like teleport. I wouldn't want a free movement where you can just move around, fly around, slide around, whatever you call it. Yeah, I'm super against that.
I think Eric wrote up a post that we put in the subreddit, so it's r/Rec Room, where he kind of details why it would be super difficult from like a resource standpoint to do in the near term. That said, like, who knows? Like, we could run experiments internally or in like little builds on stuff like that. But I think
we tried something like that before. It wasn't good.
I'm sure there have been a lot of experiments with it, but yeah, I mean, so much of Rec Room is built around the teleportation mechanic right now in terms of balance and all this stuff that like, if it did roll out, I would expect it to only roll out in like a certain like new game or something like that. Like that seems possible, but there's no timeline for anything like that at the moment I'm aware of.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Definitely.
Yeah, another thing is that. Yep, so even if it's only a small portion of our users who get VR sickness, we don't want to exclude them. So Rec Room is supposed to be a welcoming environment for everybody, not just like most people. So that's something we really keep in mind when we're designing new things in Rec Room.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Carthage has had his hand up for a long time.
Oh, my arm, thanks
you call it out,
Carthage, yeah, he's just switching hands. It's been so long.
Go for it.
The little limiting meter on the Sandbox thing, what's the sort of resource limit there? Like, is that poly based? What determines how much each thing fills up?
It is based on exactly how expensive I thought things might be.
Basically, it's an equipment's ability to crash the game.
Yeah, so it's the logic is like, anything with physics is kind of expensive because physics is expensive. Anything you can draw on is pretty expensive because we have to be sending that over the network. And then the extruder gun is ridiculously expensive because you can make whatever. Those numbers will fluctuate completely, I think, based on what we find like is creating bad experiences for people. So, it's a real guess.
Those are human numbers, not generated from the
human,
of the
very human
objects themselves.
You guys have experiences, by the way, where you're like, oh man, we spawned these 3 objects and it just murdered all of our performance. Like, please let us know that so that we can correct that sort of stuff. All right, James.
Yeah, that's fine. I was curious. So, like, what is like actually working? Like, are you guys geographically located in the same place, or are you all like remotely, like just?
We're all in the same office.
Okay.
We're about like 20 feet apart.
Okay, because I can when you talk, I hear you echo and her. So I wondered if you guys.
They're closer. Oops. They're closer.
Yeah, I can see her across from here.
Yeah, we can see each other.
I'll yell in the other direction.
I think I'm about the same distance away from John, like in real life, as I am in VR.
Probably about, yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other small little thing from that, if you could make it where it dings with the hit notification when you get by a dodgeball, I think that'd be cool. Because I wanted to play Chinese dodgeball in the circle on the soccer field, but I wanted people to know when they got hit. So
I was
very
just thinking that
complex,
earlier.
very technical.
Yeah, we've had that feedback already by a couple other people that they want the hit notification for that. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we had Hoisin has had his hand up for a really long time.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm patient. Are there any plans to add any kind of user-level scripting engine or any kind of either proprietary language or pre-existing like Lua or Python?
Oh.
Nope.
Oh yeah, it comes out tomorrow.
What would you want to do with it?
Well, mainly as far as the context of Sandbox allow for things that are automated, allowing things like what happens when someone gets hit, kind of like triggers or like event handlers, being able to say on hit event, what happens to this player? Do they get teleported to a specific area? What spawns in their hand when they get respawned? All the kind of just really automation things such that we can take away things that the game master is responsible for and put it to a script.
Yeah. Okay.
So that kind of opens like a whole can of worms, which we don't really want to go down into right now. I don't think we have that anywhere on like our future plans, but you never know.
I think more than like scripting, we do want to try and give people the ability to create like take as much of the work away from running a game as possible. So if it turns out that like you want to track health, maybe we create like an item that tracks health very specifically that. Or like if you want to respawn, we create something that does respawns. So it wouldn't be creating an entire game mode necessarily, but it would be like attempting to allow you to do whatever you need to do with like the human element, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Pigsty.
Pigsty.
Why can't we spawn buckets?
Wait for our pitch.
You want to take that one, John?
Wait for our pitch.
Sarah, Sarius is taking it.
I just personally hate the bucket.
You spawn bucket, I don't hate them.
I hate the
Oh,
bucket
you're
too.
getting the thumbs down.
It's gonna make it super expensive.
Everybody seems to love the bucket. That's so funny.
Bucket is the
all
best.
Just in case it started a revolution.
Well, their hand up
He
for a
did.
while.
Bucket.
Oh, Mama Monkey?
I haven't had my hand up very long. Yeah, I do.
Oh, go for it.
Did you fix Scribbly's hearing aid? Because the bell is killing me.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes, I had to go
What are
yell
you
in his
talking about?
ear to tell him to
I
turn
think
it
it's
down.
only you. It's super quiet. I can barely hear it.
So loud, yeah.
Just turn it
It
up.
is.
Turn it up.
We turned it up. We doubled it.
No.
Be able to hear it now.
No.
That's coming in the patch, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
ears, thank you.
Like immediately, yeah.
Minutely. More questions? All the way on the right?
Yeah, I got a question. Do you ever think that you'll be able to fix spectating for Quest?
Yeah, that's the
We
point.
got this
Yeah.
question last time.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Spectating
question
for
is-
Quest.
In Quest, there's like a spectator thing on the board, but it actually has no functionality, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that
It just
accurate?
keeps you in the starting area.
Yep. It's accurate.
Just by
So
removing the
that
button.
one is Quest is kind of in a weird state. It's different from a lot of other games in the way that we built it. Spectating just doesn't work because we need 4 players to be there, and there's no way you can like just follow them. So the thing about Quest is that everything is one huge level. All the different rooms are in one level. They're one scene. So the way Spectator is set up now, it's not going to be able to work with Quest unless we rewire a lot of things. And we would rather work on new features for you guys rather than this. I'm sure most of you will agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Your mic is off.
Hey, you're echoing through
me now?
us.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
What would you use
Nope, it's off again.
Oh, it's
Yo, make it
motivator.
Okay.
Oh, I'm losing tracking.
There
Come
you
on,
go.
don't give excuses.
So,
Okay.
Motivator wants to know what you would use the spectating mode for.
Say that
Besides
there's-
just
I got four-
spectating, I guess?
Just spectating, just going in there with friends, like there's already a group of friends playing, go in there, hang out, talk while they're going through quests.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
So just to, like
Honestly,
wait
how
for
is
them
it
to
we can
finish
put
the
enough
game,
in?
maybe.
Yeah.
Does that
would
answer your
say,
question,
like,
Motivator?
It would be aside from the 4 players playing,
Yeah, have a fifth.
as a 4th player, but instead of playing, I'm spectating.
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I mean,
In
yeah,
paintball, when you
there's-
come
there's
in, you
also
take one of the
sometimes-
spots, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
you
he
take
be
one of
on
the spots, yeah.
stage? So confused.
He's not
Why
worthy.
isn't he on stage?
He didn't want to be.
He wants to see what you guys are up to from behind.
It's keeping you guys in line.
Okay, next question.
And now you're gonna get swarmed.
Walrick?
Yeah. How taxing on the system is this room for you guys, the server?
If we had many more people than this, it probably wouldn't function. Like, you probably noticed at one point, like, certain people's hands were just, like, flying off. I think when you guys did the, like, the maximum test, there was, like, 50 people, is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
we had 50 people in the lounge, and it got real bad.
I feel like that is more of like a machine kind of thing, because some people were okay, like, I think Beavers,
Yeah.
like his frame rate was at 90, mine was at 20, and I was dying.
Yeah, mine was at like 4.
Wow.
It was really bad. But that
Is this
room,
20
I
people
think,
right now?
poly-wise, is more expensive than this.
It's
So,
true.
I think this
Yeah,
room
this
is
room's
limited
pretty
at
empty.
40 currently.
yeah, right now we're limited at 40,
Okay.
which is 35 of you.
But supporting more people per room
Quick
is
math.
something that we're thinking about.
Mhm.
Yeah. Zoe?
There he is. Now he's
Given plans for implementing sort of a population awareness thing so that people in quests, you often go into quests, of course it takes a long time to load all of the textures, and then you find you're the only person there, but maybe there are 2 people playing the other, who would have happily played the other quests, had you know there were more people kind of trying to fill the party. Is there anything you're thinking of doing like that?
Well, that's a thing that we want to do. Yeah. Like having seeing how many people are playing each game before you go in. Yeah. That's definitely something we want to do.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's impressive that you heard that.
I heard that.
Your mic
Your
is
mic
still
is
off,
off again.
Pedro. Just turn it on.
All right.
sure I can turn it
Anybody who's got a first time question? Okay. Maybe not. Fancy?
Just a question not relating to Sandbox, but do y'all develop on min-spec machines, or y'all have just varying machines? Just wondering.
Different people have
They're
different
varied.
machines. Yeah.
Yeah, they're varied.
Pretty varied. There's gotta be
Not-
someone on a 970, right?
I
We
just got
rid of the
upgraded.
last. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we got
was
rid of the
one.
last 970.
Or-
The one I
or
have at
T-Money.
home is 970, but the office one is, I think, 1080, if I'm not wrong. Or maybe it's 1070.
At the same time, though, like there's for developing, we need to be able to move fast, right? Like having slow compile times wouldn't help anyone. But we do test on a bunch of other hardware, which is like many of that is significantly less powerful than our dev PCs. So, you know.
Yeah.
We try and be aware.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I use a laptop at home.
Oh, wow. And
And
it
I
can
can
run?
run the Oculus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It works.
Okay.
Any more first questioners?
that's fine.
Yeah. Walrick has
Timothy?
Jimothy.
Yeah.
Timothy.
Timothy's the first
It's
time.
gonna be like for Sandbox.
What?
Would you be able to like
That's very
run
low.
multiple things at the same time, like be in Sandbox?
Cannot
at the
hear
same
you at
time,
all.
be playing...
Really?
I can.
Here.
I can.
hear you.
I hear you.
Like
I'm going
when
closer.
you're
No
running
problem.
if you're running Sandbox, would you be able to do different games like paintball at the same time? Like what I
can
was
see
trying to do
the
with my friends
speech
earlier, we were
bubbles,
trying
but
to
I
spawn in
can't
bows
hear.
and then go into a paintball lobby, but whenever we switched back, it would just delete everything.
Oh yeah,
proximity
sheet.
There's we're definitely actively thinking about what we want to do to enable like more gamified things. But for now, yeah, once you're in Sandbox, you're in Sandbox, and you can, you know, you can play that, and then you switch out, and you're not. For now.
Yeah,
I made my bubble
essentially,
smaller, so-
what you're talking about is what someone talked
My
about
bubbles
earlier,
and
which was applying the rule sets of other games to wherever the sandbox is. So, like, you could take the sandbox machine into, you know, the dodgeball room and then play a game of paintball or whatever by, you know, having, like, loading up that rule set. So that's something we're thinking about.
I'll say after.
All right. I don't see any first timers.
Oh yeah. No more first timers.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
Harrison? Is Harrison done one?
Yeah. What?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for
Doesn't-
being honest.
It doesn't really matter anymore. I don't think we've got everybody's duplicates again. So.
All right. Well.
Wait, I haven't asked a question yet.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead then.
Harrison, your auto tune is.
Your auto tune.
Whoops. Okay.
There we go. Much better.
So, you know the mixed reality headsets coming out from Windows?
Yep.
Are those going to have the same requirements as in
I think they're
spec-wise?
lower. They are lower hardware spec.
There are two of them. So,
They're-
yeah, you wanna say it?
So yeah, they're gonna come out with the same specs as Vive, and then they're gonna launch a lower requirement one a few months later. But initial one is gonna be same specs.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, everything I've seen is that they will support a much lower spec version with those headsets. They like want them to run off of an integrated graphics chip, essentially, in like laptops and the Surface Pro and stuff like that. So I think if you have like a really low spec Sheen, that's they're putting a lot of effort into making the Windows MR headsets run on that.
Well, I meant for Rec Room for the video requirements and stuff.
So we are just following the Windows spec, the Windows MR spec. I think like they have two of it. Like one is the Ultra and one is the normal one. And so what they said was for the normal one, I'll be guaranteed to run on it like 60 FPS. But if you get a good machine, you get the Ultra one, then it's 90. Basically the same experience you get on the Vive and Oculus. Or else you might have some perf issues, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think because they're optimizing it specifically for that platform, ideally it will run slightly better on lower hardware, but we don't. I don't know. I don't know if
But
we know
there
that
will
yet.
probably still be a difference.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Walk had a question for a while.
Emily has a question.
Okay.
Go.
So, is there gonna be a possibility of sandbox mode in the performance hall? Because I know where it is in the charades where it's like standing there. It'd be cool if it was like behind there because we could like take it, like let's say for the music event, we could take out like the posters and put like a lineup of like people. So it'd be cool to like maybe add like 2 microphones, stuff like that. It'd be easier for events.
That's a good idea. I like
More
that
like a
idea.
show.
You can hide it backstage.
Yeah, have it up here where you guys can't reach it while we're doing these.
Exactly. So like behind the curtain, or if you guys want to, or if there's like other rooms in the future, I don't know.
Yeah.
Props
anyone
for
use a performance hall right now?
Yes, yes.
Only during events.
Okay, so that's part of what you want too, is you just want access to the performance hall.
Yes,
like,
please.
anytime.
Yeah, totally. Just for like, any private event. That'd be awesome.
Like, I know some people are planning plays and stuff, so for like rehearsal time, you
Practice.
wouldn't want that to be like an event, but you'd want to be in here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why
That's
we wouldn't
something
open this up.
definitely.
Yeah, I was wondering why. I thought it would be
Making
available.
this.
It's
We finally
probably
removed the shadows that were baked into the stage. I mean,
yeah.
that's a good
The one that broke Cloud's heart.
Yeah, it's a good request. All right. Anybody have a first-time question?
You don't have to drop your hand. You can leave your
Oh,
hand
I mean,
up.
the video has an ass.
all the way over in the right.
Disappointed noble.
You can do
Archer. We can't hear you.
I can hear him.
You gotta get closer.
No. Gotta
He's
go
really
creep
loud.
up on him.
Somebody. He's loud.
So the question was, how are we going to handle the controllers?
Of course, yeah, inside out.
Apparently, the controllers default back to they have some sort of additional like IMU or kind of acceleration tracking once they leave the headset. So they're still sending like a rough approximate signal of their location. So they're essentially giving you a best guess to the headset. So even if you're pulling your bow all the way back here, like we still have a rough idea. I'm sure if you kept your hands behind your back for like an extended period of time and moved them around, it would eventually fully lose tracking, but it's essentially just doing a best guess at any point when it's outside the 100% tracking area that the headset cameras give you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. Any other first time questions?
I don't think so.
See any? Okay, let's do Walrich.
Okay. Have you had any hands-on time with the new Vive controllers?
Oh,
Yep.
Any
Hopefully
thoughts
we're
on
allowed to
that?
talk about that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just do it.
But yeah, we have.
I know.
We have them in the office, but we haven't done a lot of experiments with them yet.
Mhm.
But they're pretty cool just to like slide them on and then, totally let go of your hands. But it's about the extent of my experience with them. I don't know if you guys have done anything more than that.
After a while, like if you're playing Quest and your hands get a bit sweaty, it's a bit gross. I'll just say that.
Yeah, Cloud's been playing with them a lot. If he was here, he'd be able to.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Seem more ergonomic than normal Vive controllers, though.
Definitely they
Yeah,
are.
seriously.
Volts, you haven't asked a question yet.
Sorry if this has been asked before because I only just got in. But are you going to be adding more furniture in the future to the Sandbox?
There was a couch request.
Ooh.
I think it's... I don't know if we are really going to commit to adding any stuff, but it was said that there's only a chair in there now, so I think it's unlikely that it remains only a chair, would be my guess.
Well, to have a whole category
Because I
for
want
the
a
chair.
lamp so I can smash
Might as
it.
well
We have
just
to make
rename the
them
button
tools.
chair.
Yeah, we can rename it the chair.
Chair
Or
button.
decoration. You just move it to decoration.
We need wood, a planer, a saw, some nails.
All right. Pigsty?
Are you guys ever gonna add chairs to the performance hall?
We had them. I think we removed them, didn't we?
No, we never
No.
had chairs in here.
Oh, we never had chairs?
So yeah, this room is just like the charades
There was chairs over there.
room, which I removed a lot of stuff on stage and said, okay, we're gonna use this. Lazy programmer.
Yeah. Maybe
Actually, it's
eventually,
lazy
but...
artist.
What? I didn't do what?
Because the artist didn't give us a new room, so we just
Oh,
used the
I wasn't
existing
asked
one.
to give you a new room. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you hear Odzilla? I gave you one. And you didn't use it. So
Is she in here? Oh. Oh my gosh, she's yelling in office. Okay.
she's yelling at you in the office. Still there.
Whatever.
But also, if we add chairs or places to sit, then that may be at the detriment of having more people. So
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep. You add more
Each chair is
polys
2
and-
draw calls.
That is true.
The guild.
All right.
I like it.
Oh, that's it now.
Let's go with chill again.
A lot of fun, not only to open this up as an alternative for the lounge, but also if we could somehow port the TV from the soccer field in here to throw up on the stage of us doing stuff.
Whoa.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh. Ooh.
Locomotion camera
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like raise and lower it.
Maybe.
Have
That'd
the
be cool.
Jumbotron boss hanging from the middle of the room.
Also might
Just
come
actual
at the
Jumbotron.
detriment to having more people in here
Oh.
because you're rendering another camera.
Yeah,
Right?
basically anything else you add into this room will limit the number of people you can have here.
Just add it to Sandbox.
Could limit.
There you go.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Ship it.
My work's done. That's great.
Any first time questions?
Oh,
Oh, Toast, have you not asked one before?
Oh, and
Nope.
Is it actually possible to leave the lounge skybox? So like walk out of it completely if you just keep walking. I spent 2 hours on it and eventually got teleported back to the dorm room.
That's dedication.
Yeah. First of all, you have a little too much time.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I think that's rendered onto the camera.
Oh yeah, I just kept walking back and forth.
Man, what a journey.
How tangled was your cord?
Later.
If he just had to keep, he just has to keep turning the opposite direction each time.
I think that's just projected onto the camera. I don't think you can go outside it.
Yeah.
You can get past the clouds though. The clouds.
I mean, it actually was behind the moon at some point, so that's
true.
That's very impressive.
Oh, well. Thank you.
And a little
That's
sad at the
dedication,
same
man.
time.
Yeah.
Guy called Jack in the back.
Sick rhymes.
With with the release of the new Sandbox mode, will there be new features added onto it? Like maybe saying we could maybe create our own custom quests or something like that? Like building our own sort of structures and level layouts, and then adding in all different enemies and where they spawn and so on like that.
Oh.
I don't know if we can comment on like specific features, but we're definitely not done with Sandbox and like building out the things you can do, and you know, whether or not you can save them or add rules, or like that's a lot of what we've been talking about today, and we're definitely gonna be looking into all the different things we can do.
Basically, based on what you guys start making and what you guys ask for is that's what we're gonna add to Sandbox in the future. So it's good to know that what you guys want.
Yeah. And please let us know what you're building and, what's working and what isn't working.
Yep.
The Discord is a great place to put it in the feedback channel.
Mm-hmm.
The subreddit is good.
Yep.
And then if you make something really cool that you want to share with the community, you can tag it Rec Room VR on Twitter, and we'll try to retweet it and share it out as well.
Yep. So we look at every single one of the artwork you guys send us or tag us in. They are amazing, and everybody at the office loves them.
We get a big kick out of it.
Is anybody's on the refrigerator yet?
Yeah, another has been up for a pretty long time already.
I think we all
Noble.
took them all home.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add on to Emily's question, like for having Sandbox mode in the performance hall, like it could work for like, I know like Mom Monkey had the improv club, that we could have that for like more props and stuff to help with the acting and all that.
Yep. That's a good idea.
We've definitely been playing around with costumes and props for making
Yes, costumes. Oh gosh.
costumes.
We'll see.
And
Next update what happens.
We'll see.
Okay. Any first time or new people that got in? I don't think so.
We've got Dave in the back, and then a couple people up front.
All right, all right, Bolts, you can get more in.
Yeah, adding on to what Voda just said, like costumes, maybe you could like add all the clothes just to, like try on and see what ones you want to earn future in like the quests. So say you want to earn like a certain rank and you haven't seen them yet, so you can like look at them on a giant screen like on the Sandbox, so it pulls up like the big puzzle of all the clothes.
Okay. So it's a request to like try on items or like see items that you haven't earned yet.
Clothing category in the Sandbox.
I think there's, I mean, the closest thing you could get to that currently is there's a wiki someone made. So someone made like a Rec Room wiki where they have like all the items documented, or almost all of them, I think. So awesome. I don't know. There's hundreds
Maybe
in
like
there,
50%.
Okay. Well, there's a Rec Room wiki that has a bunch of clothes and hats and all the items in it. So
Okay.
the more you guys contribute to that, the more
Yep.
the community can, know in general about all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for letting us know you guys want to do that. That's cool. All right. I don't see anyone new. So Gerbil.
So back a while ago, I had a bit of a conversation with Boda about the frisbee physics. I was wondering if, since you have the sandbox, it's kind of like a natural way you could introduce like beta items or items that you maybe didn't like the feel of that people could experiment with.
So it's essentially the question is like, could we use the sandbox machine to like beta test new items that might make their way into other activities or stuff
Good
like
idea.
that?
Or if
That's a
we
good
have
idea.
a prototype and we're like, the prototype isn't worth doing a full activity, but this thing is fun, we could totally throw it in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Like the
Yeah,
giant
the sandbox machine definitely allows us to run
Yep, like
a
the
lot
giant
of quick
post-it.
experiments for you
That's
guys.
how Tom slipped that one in.
A boomerang.
Yes! A boomerang! Please put in the boomerang.
What would you use a boomerang for?
To throw
Throw it and
it.
catch
You
it.
use a boomerang.
Throw it and catch it.
What else do you use it for?
It has no purpose.
I'd like to know what you use the boomerang for.
Okay, hands up high.
Dave,
if
did
you have a
your question get asked?
No, my question wasn't really actually serious, but are all the tripping hazards clear on your floor in there so we're not tripping on the server?
Who knows?
Ethernet cables.
How
Certainly
dare
the
you,
easier thing
Dave.
to take care of than stop drinking coffee. So
And tea.
yes, and chai.
And
Gribbly's
let's
at
and
PAX,
stop
so we're safe.
Gribbly. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
stop letting Gribbly wire up stuff.
Yeah, that's just
He makes the
dangerous
worst
for everybody.
decisions about where to put the wires.
Okay, Toast.
Yeah, two questions actually. First one, will you ever allow us to sort clothes? It kind of bothers me to have all the clothes, different types, spread out.
So like storing a certain outfit and then loading that outfit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well,
yeah,
that for
that-
example,
he
but
said
Like putting it on a
also-
mannequin in a closet or
if
But
you-
that works. I like that idea.
A
He
default.
wants
you're
us
looking
sorting.
at the
Sort
clothes
clothes,
selection,
yeah.
for example, the armors and the, I don't know, shirts in that kind of
Yeah.
type, then that color, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so you want to be able to sort them yourself rather than like they're already pre-sorted kind of
Oh,
by that. aren't
Either
they?
way's fine, really.
No, it's a mess
Yeah.
in my closet.
Somewhat. We've discussed adding in a little bit more as we get more and more avatar items, trying to break them up into smaller categories so that they're easier to find. You know, when you look at our drawers, it's like nuts.
Oh my
because we
gosh,
have
it's just
all
a
of the
wall.
items. So it's just a wall of clothes around you. So we know that luckily you guys are not quite there yet, but we definitely realize that will be an issue soon, especially because we'll keep adding avatar items. So there's definitely lots of different ideas coming about what to do with overstock of avatar items or reorganizing, adding more drawers, whatever.
And I have another question, if that's okay. The otter gloves, why do they have the top two fingerstick post when you put the
So
most
you
strain
can
on
grab
those?
the bow
Passion.
Yeah, but
That's what they
normal
look like
otter
in real
gloves
life.
have the... No, they don't. At least I don't.
Got gloves like that.
Normal ultra gloves are kind of the opposite, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Uh,
He sits down. He's like, my work here is done. I asked my all-important glove question.
Yes.
Any new people or first-time questions?
I didn't touch your toes as one.
Oh yeah.
Could we get more options for people who don't
Oh, don't what?
have mics?
Irony.
Quite a few requests.
You mean like
for this. I
espresso
think-
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the espresso was the first part of that. What sort of stuff in particular are you looking for?
So like sounds with the espressos, so that like people can
Like if you go down quests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So your
then,
teammates know
like
you're
more customized
It
things.
sends out
so
a
that because right now I have to like seek out the whiteboard, and that's not really efficient.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this a bunch, but Espresso like Sandbox is kind of like the first step of seeing what works, and then we really want to try and build on that, whether it's, you can customize it, or we add sounds, or it's all about trying it out first, seeing if it's, good at all, and seeing if you like it, and then we can add, the things that you really need to use after that.
Yep.
Yes,
Definitely
we
open
do
to
plan
adding
on
more stuff to
hopefully
it.
building on it. Yeah.
Keep bothering us on Discord, and you'll probably get it eventually.
Keep bothering Gridley.
Yes,
Yeah,
Gridley.
Since she doesn't make it, just ask for it.
Fancy.
So is there any reason for the espresso, when you put your finger out like this, there's no collision with the hand? I like to spin basketballs with my finger, and I can do it like this, but I think it'd be really cool if I could balance it on a single finger. Is there any reason that it doesn't collide?
Actually, the pointing finger was kind of a byproduct of espresso. Like, we didn't think about it when we were making it, and then it was like, oh, and we got like pointing expression for free. And it's just using like menu finger, which has kind of other physical properties as the normal hand. But yeah, if it's something we use differently than the normal hand.
Add collision to it though? I mean, is there any reason why there isn't collision to it? Or
Yes, there is actually. Yeah, so right now, this finger, it collides with all the UI stuff. If you want to make it collide with real stuff, we need to change a bunch of things. So that's a simple answer.
Okay.
Like if you realize whenever you use this finger, it's always to interact with some UI element.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
That can't be pressed with your like full hand and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
It's a special finger.
He trying to stick it.
Yeah, the whole hand doesn't have collision.
Yeah, no collision.
Yeah.
Hey, next question. You've already gotten 2 volts. Calm down.
Oh, we got James.
Parker.
James the parkour.
Okay, go ahead, James.
Yeah.
A game and like title it like Ultimate Frisbee, or people could join it. That'd be pretty neat.
Kind of like Overwatch is.
That would be pretty cool.
Server list.
Wow.
That'd be
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
That could be a
That sounds like a pretty cool idea.
Sorry, sister.
That's getting done, isn't it?
We didn't say anything.
Maybe one day something like
Please
that
say
will
that's getting
happen.
done. That'd be so cool.
Maybe one day.
You get him. You get him.
Alright.
When you guys walk out of this room, guess what?
Yes.
Oh no, that's a giant feather in his hat that I missed his for
Yes,
hand.
it is.
Go ahead, Bolts.
Yes. Will you ever be able to like spawn in mobs from the sandbox to practice on your aim?
Yeah, so like spawn in stuff from the quests or
Yeah, like
targets
goblins
or whatever.
or like the big robots on Jumbotron.
Yeah, I think people
Maybe.
were asking for the cardboard cutouts too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'd be
or like
cool.
saw someone asking for the archery targets, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So you're just talking about something to
Damon.
practice your aim with. Yeah, that seems like a good contender for something for us to add. Yeah,
Well, you can
again,
spawn water bottles and you can try shooting at them.
What more could you want?
Buckets!
An actual target.
That's right. And the chair. Chair.
It's so special. It's got its own button.
Just do that. And
just
fix it next
do it
time.
for a little while. Chair button until we add more that goes furniture.
We've got time
Make it
for
so,
a few
John.
more questions.
Add a HTC Vive to the furniture.
Anybody else have a first-time question? Doesn't seem like it. All right, go ahead. Oh, Kat.
Question.
Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably already answered this, but I'm just curious. Can we make the sandboxes yet, or not quite yet?
You can.
Oh, okay, cool. How do you make them?
You just have to go into a private game.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. This is really cool.
Yeah.
No problem.
Anything besides Quest, pretty much, has a
private
machine
game.
in
You
it.
better make that a thing. I'm kind of mad
Any
that it's not a
activity
thing.
Except Quest.
This one.
There's not one in the lounge, is there?
There is.
Yeah.
Oh, there is?
Private lounge.
Suck that in without
Yeah.
you knowing.
I'm going there after this.
Oh God,
Oh,
no.
that'd be
No,
awesome.
that-
No.
No. It's
I'm
an
not being shot
private
with an
room,
arrow every
not a
5
rec
seconds.
center.
Imagine
Universal,
five
though.
trying
So fast.
3D drawers.
I know,
So
right?
fast.
Yeah, so that is the technical reason is that since they're only enabled in private games and you can't have a private rec center.
Oh well. Yeah. Right, we've heard the request for a basketball hoop that you can spawn. We certainly think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that count as furniture? Could we make it furniture? Could you sit on it?
You could, but I think you'd get stuck.
Teleport yourself.
You slam dunk yourself.
Yeah, just teleport.
You just jump in it.
Put it with the chair button.
Grand slam.
Okay.
Dave's got another question. And so does...
Yeah, but he's gotten like 4.
I know.
Yeah, no,
He's
it's
got a lot of questions. He's a very inquisitive
All right.
person.
Big Sam's one?
How about like little pets or something that follow you around the rec center, like mobs request?
Like zoo animals.
Absolutely necessary.
Yeah, you just go to like a Petco and then just trip over your cat while you're playing.
I totally want
Maybe
that.
a little parrot you could put on your shoulder.
Please,
A
never that.
cat that you could trip
Not
on?
like World of Warcraft, please.
Yeah.
No pets.
What about one that just sits on your shoulder? That'd be cute.
That would be cute.
Parrot?
definitely a
Avatar
Pirate
item.
outfit.
I got you.
Yeah.
Hook
Also,
it
one
up
more
to a
thing,
second mic
like
and let
fishing.
someone talk with it.
or like a more relaxing thing that doesn't make me want to throw my Vive, like disc golf and propulsion.
You said fishing? Oh.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Just go to disc golf map and fish in the lake.
There are no fish.
Flag don't work too
I like
well.
that the
We can
person
3D
said
draw
there are no
fish and
sticks.
throw it in the river.
Not that there are no fish.
When has fishing been about?
I know
Catching
catching. I
fish,
know. It's never about catching. Emily,
All right.
you haven't asked a
Okay,
question in a while.
I know. I saved this to the end for a reason. Alkmaar, now we're finally in a game together. Can I get that picture of you?
At the very end, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah, once we're done, we've got...
Why don't you just trace all of them in a group?
More questions.
Oh god, that would take forever.
Oh yeah, I want to
It
take
would
a
take
group
forever doing them
selfie.
one by one.
A Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Do you have
Well,
a
yeah,
question?
Emily's been doing
Maybe.
the vector...
Darth Jake, do
Maybe
you
I
have a
could just
question?
get a picture of all of you.
flailing your
If I, in
hands
case I ever want to do
No?
it later.
You could.
Oh, you guys are way too tiny. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's a question, though.
Kat, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm lagging like real bad. Any ideas for a baseball game at some point?
Please make that a thing.
No plans yet.
Same idea.
I like it.
for boxing. That's
I
an
mean,
idea.
yeah, I good
Right.
ideas.
And bowling.
Go-karts.
Oh, good.
Really haven't been many like VR baseball things, have there? Like, what's the closest?
No.
It's not very
Are
The
there
closest we've gotten is like the Wii, I think, in Wii Sports.
Yeah, I can't.
No, definitely.
We need fencing.
Super raccoon card.
Oh,
you can
bowling.
use
That
the
would be
swords
cool.
in the blocks to do
They
sword
literally
bats.
just said that's just an
You
idea.
have no resistance.
All right. No other first timers. Go ahead, Bolts.
Yeah, are you doing anything to like fix the lag? Because I went into a field soccer lobby with my friend Forbin that's back there, and our game kind of crashed when we spawned in too many stuff.
Oh,
It's because you've
using
spawned
the
in too much
Sandbox
stuff.
mode?
There's a problem, mate.
Is there anything to prevent that so we have time to press like
Spawn in less
refresh
stuff.
Get a better computer.
You're spending more gills than you had.
Man likes his frisbee.
Do let us know what items you were spawning, because we probably need
And
to
how
put
many?
down stuff.
Giant sticky notes.
Well, yeah, giant sticky notes are expensive.
I told you, giant sticky notes are really, really painful sometimes.
I love them though.
Did you guys max out the meter? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're maxing out the meter and spawning a bunch of stuff, let us know. You know what? If you did like 20 sticky notes or whatever, and that.
Just saying that, Forbin was sticking a shotgun inside the sticky note, making it fly away like a helicopter.
Well, that's probably a physics thing then that might have crashed you guys.
That's really good.
Yeah. If you're doing something where you're like, I don't feel like this should crash the game, then maybe let us know. If you're like, yeah, I totally expect that to crash the game, it's on you.
I think
my little
Dave
guy.
has a question.
Like a billion dice.
I've done that
Why did
before.
this
It's so
crash?
fun.
All right, so it'll be the last one. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, along the lines of earlier talking about the paintball deaths and stuff, right now in Sandbox mode, it just says hit. It doesn't say hit by, and it doesn't tell the person that hit the person who they hit. You know, so I don't know if I actually hit somebody. All I know is I was hit.
True.
That's fair. So you want to see who hit you and who you hit?
I like that.
Kind of like in paintball.
That makes sense.
Paintball, but doesn't necessarily have to have the death and despawn thing yet. Just at least the hit by.
Oh, not the different respawn.
Yeah,
That's annoying.
that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
back.
Cool. Well,
Way to make
thanks a lot,
sense,
everyone.
Dave.
Thanks.
Oh.
Whoa, Dave.
Hey, everyone.
We just had the last question.
Aw, man.
If you have a question, you can ask it real
Poor
quick,
Otto.
Oddle. Do you have a
No,
question?
I didn't. I was just here.
I'll take
Probably
this
my work,
question.
but I think that was already covered, right?
Well, some of us
How
might be
does it
hanging
work?
out for a little bit.
What is the meaning of life in Rec Room?
I'm sorry, what was that, Turtle Face?
Wow, I'm gone.
Damn it. Oh, it's not.
All right, I think we're good.
I got kicked out because of disconnection issues, and then I come back and it's ended.
You got to see part of it.
I already asked my question.
Mama Monkey was
think-
streaming anyway.
Yeah, I think Mama Monkey was streaming it. It should be captured
hopefully
on
it
Twitch,
works.
so
I mean,
if you want to rewatch it or share it with anyone who couldn't make it, probably find it there. I'm sure she'll post it in the Discord.
Now, all this
Please
talk
join
of-
the Discord if you're not in it. That's the best place to kind of stay in touch with us and let us know when you find bugs or have feedback. Also,
But
the
also read our
subreddit.
forum rules when you do that to
Yes.
know how we run our Discord, because we don't want it running wild, and we do run it a little differently, I think, than other people. So please
Yep, there's a
be
rules
cognizant of the
channel.
rules.
So first time you come into the Discord, take a look at the rules channel. That'll give you an idea of what channels to use and all sorts of rules that are involved.
Not a lot of
Subreddit,
rules.
Twitter.
Good review if you haven't yet.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, please leave us a
I
review
did. 5
on
stars.
Steam
feel
or
like I should.
Oculus or both if you really love us.
We've seen lots of new ones recently, so thank you.
If you really love us.
Really love Sylvie Marie.
Yeah, I saw yours, so it's like, after 500 hours?
Wait. 544 now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have
I
500 hours in the
reached
game other than my
200 like
own.
last week, and I'm
More,
already
I
almost
started
at
playing in
250.
August.
I'm almost at 100.
People
Okay,
playing
yeah,
like
that's
monsters.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
All right, Emily, I'll go to a private. Or do you want just to?
I want to take a group picture of everybody first.
Here when I was hosting a bunch
Of everybody? All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're taking a picture of you guys.
Oh wait, I gotta get one of you individually first, Alchemar.
Yeah.
I'm right here. Okay.
Here, I'll go get my
I gotta
posse and I'll
closer in
start a
that.
game, alright?
Turn myself.
No,
Okay.
wait.
Hot for the picture.
Must
Sorry.
walk into
Yeah,
where
should
they're
have my-
Try to smile. Yeah, that looks good.
All right. Cool.
Do I look hot for the
Okay.
picture?
Let's take a picture, guys.
Am I sexy, Sean?
Oh, you're
I should
bubble.
probably stand here. Okay. Is this better?
Oh, I
Oh,
can't
no.
crouch
Oh,
down
no.
because my knees aren't good enough.
Oh no.
I know that.
Oh no,
what?
what?
Look the same.
There and
I'm trying to get everybody.
It just says, oh no, oh no.
Oh, because you said you couldn't crouch down.
I can a little bit, but it's
Do I look
hard.
good?
Okay, I think this is sort of everybody. I'm sorry, my head is like blocking people.
Giant
Okay, ready?
head.
Hey, ready? 1, 2.
I made it that way.
Cheese.
Okay, let me see this. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, you went in! Come on, Sean.
It's fine. I've got a few of everybody.
Motion's pics on Discord.
Yes.
Don't, what?
Oh, hi there.
Hey, Sean.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh,
Mark.
Mark.
Hi, Mark. What
Oh,
have I
hi,
done?
Mark.
Wow. Lots of
Son, Mark, look what you did.
Wait, but I thought the
Sorry.
save was working. It's just a send that's not.
Well, aren't you guys just fancy using advanced settings?
Really? Wait. Oh my gosh. Okay,
My
wait, let me
son
check my
did.
I
computer
still don't
first.
have it.